Welcome back to the Get Loved Up podcast, your number one resource for inspiration and motivation to live your purpose, make healthy living a priority, and thrive doing what you love. I'm your host, Koya Webb, a small town girl who chased her dreams and caught them, a former track and field athlete who healed using spirituality and yoga, and an entrepreneur who didn't let sexual assault, racism, and insecurities dim her light. And now it's your turn to allow these episodes with some of the top voices in spirituality, wellness, and entrepreneurship to inspire you to thrive. Let's get loved up together. Londrelle is an Atlanta-based poet, author, and musician. Londrelle's works, words, and poetry are deeply inspired by Eastern philosophy and ancient spiritual texts. As an independent artist, he has released 6 studio albums under his label and publishing company, Eternal Sunshine. As a self-published author, he has released 3 books. His self-help poetry book, also entitled Eternal Sunshine, released in 2017 and continues to inspire minds and nurture souls along the spiritual path. Londrelle is a creator and voice of popular mindfulness meditation app called Eternal Sunshine, which provides daily inspiration and mindfulness talks to its over 1 million daily users. Londrelle's art and offerings remain anchored in his desire to serve and remove suffering from the hearts and minds of souls. Londrelle!
Koya, great to finally be in the present again in the physical vortex. It's been such a long time.
It's been so long. Yeah. Wow. But you know what? I haven't been without you. Mm-hmm. Your music, your spoken word has been with me for so long. Mm-hmm. For like, I want to say at least 6 years now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sticking with me, staying with me, holding space for me in your life in that way. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Gratitude.
Gratitude
is how I'm feeling right now. Yeah. It's one of your favorite, it's one of my favorite songs of yours. And I'm just so grateful for the space, for the time, for the opportunity to go deep, and I know your story. A lot of people see what you're doing now. They're like, oh yeah, Londrelle, but they don't know the depth of your character and how what they're seeing now has been birthed through a lot of resilience and a lot of challenges. And so I really want to take people there so they can really get to know you.
Yeah, I want to go there. I mean, there's still things that I need to uncover. And like I said before the cameras are rolling, there is still like things that I don't question. I don't ask myself. So, a conversation is a perfect opportunity to go deeper, to see the things that you maybe ignore, to see the hidden parts that you are not aware of, to see where you're not willing to go deeper. So I'm excited about the conversation, excited about the exchange, and just excited to be here, to be present for it.
Ashe. Well, where I want to start is where we both are passionate about liberation, and freedom. Yeah. And I know that you had a really hard childhood growing up. And I know a lot of people are working with a lot of hard family dynamics. So can you share as much as you feel comfortable and how you got free?
Still getting free, still releasing, still unpacking, but just coming to peace with the things that have happened in my life and not trying to give them meaning, but being purposeful, allowing those things to be tools for liberation, allowing the abuse, allowing the neglect, allowing the traumatic environment to be a tool for self-awakening, a tool for healing, a tool for self-discovery as well, and a tool to just go deeper within myself to understand why I am the way that I am. Not trying to fix my past, but working more to heal my now, to accept healing in the now. And like you said, I had a very adverse and traumatic childhood, but I feel that has only made me a little bit more compassionate, a lot more compassionate, a lot more loving, a lot more understanding, a lot more resilient. Because to be a child and so fragile and so sensitive, I kind of like closed myself off to that growing up, but now opening myself back up to the way that I was as a child. I was a very sensitive and emotional child. I would cry over the littlest things, but, and now I do that as well now. I had got away from that heart space, that place of feeling throughout my childhood, because I was like forced inward by, abuse and, just by, witnessing violence in my neighborhood and things of that nature. So it kind of like force me in to kind of be like hard on the outside and on the inside as well. And so I've learned to use all of those all of those things as tools of self-discovery and self-awakening. So I'm still peeling back layers. I'm still unpacking everything. And it's been a beautiful journey for me. Of course, it's not without difficulties, and it's not without resistance and moments where you just totally break down. But I feel that's a part of the unpacking process, of liberation, because truly I believe that liberation is already present. We just have to free ourselves of the things that are obstructing the freedom that we want to feel,
Yes. Yeah. So true. So true. And also, like, as a Black man, like you said, you had to put those feelings away. And I think a lot of men in general, but especially Black men, feel like, oh, well, I have to be strong. I have to be bright. I can't feel the feelings, right? What is your message out there for, of course, all people, but specifically the Black male? Because a lot of times they feel like, oh, it doesn't apply. No, you still have to be strong. Everybody else can cry, but you need to be strong. Yeah,
it's okay to cry. Yeah, it's okay to feel. Let yourself feel. That's how you self-heal. And that's my motto. That has been my motto, at least for the last probably year. Let yourself feel. That's how you self-heal. So it's unpacking, dealing with the things that you suppressed, dealing with the things that you ignored, facing all of the emotions and all of the fears and all of the thoughts that you've suppressed over the years because it wasn't appropriate, or it wasn't the thing to do in that surrounding. Knowing that you are safe with you, knowing that you are okay with you. And so you can be emotional. You can allow yourself to feel your feelings. You can allow yourself to cry. You can allow yourself to sit with the pain or the hurt that you have caused and the hurt that you have endured. Just facing those things. And not sitting in those things, but sitting with those things, so that you can release those things and no longer have to bear the burden of carrying those things throughout the rest of your life. Yeah.
That's powerful. One thing you said that really sat with me is you said the pain that you caused and the pains that you've endured. Yeah. And I know sometimes we can get stuck in victim consciousness. Yeah. So how were you able, specifically in your situation, to change this childhood that was rough and to move into a place where you were actually using it for your expression?
Forgiveness. Forgiving myself for limiting myself, forgiving myself for allowing myself to be hurt, forgiving myself for not standing up for myself, forgiving myself for not standing in my own personal power, or even recognizing my own personal power in those moments where I felt powerless. Forgiving myself, and also forgiving all parties involved, knowing that they were only living to their capacity to understand life, to understand love, to understand emotions, to understand this crazy, chaotic experience that we call life. So understanding that they only had the tools that they needed at that time. And now I have more tools to offer back to those situations. And I offer my forgiveness and I offer my compassion to those versions of me and those versions of all persons involved in the hurt. And most importantly, I think it's important to forgive as we mature, to forgive the hurt that we have caused as well. I think that has been important in my own liberation, because like you said, we can play the victim and play the victim. Oh, this happened to me, but we also happen to others in some type of way. And so to forgive ourselves for how we happen to others in our own limited understanding, our own limited knowledge, and our own selfishness, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I love that, though, how we happen to others, because I feel like that allows us the compassion when we realize that, oh, yes, we have been harmed. We've all been harmed. But how are we causing harm to others? And it's not about blame, but it's more about realizing we all have a part in this. Yes, we're taking responsibility. I love that. And you tweeted something that I really love, because I say it differently. So I want you to give me the definition behind the way you express this, because I actually love it. I usually say we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And you tweeted, we're spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. So I would love for you to expand on that.
Thank you so much for receiving that tweet. It was more of a revelation that came to me, is understanding that we are spiritual beings. So everything that we experience is spiritual. This conversation is spiritual. Those that are watching this, that is a spiritual exchange. And so there's no separation between the human and the spirit. You know, the spirit is showing up as the human being, but the spirit doesn't stop being the spirit. The experience doesn't stop being spiritual because it's in a different, frame. We don't stop being human beings when we're underwater. We don't become fish. We are still quote unquote human beings.
Right.
So any environment that we're in, any body that we take on, it's still a spiritual experience. And the spirit is never lost. The spirit is never, not present.
Right.
So we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think I'm going to take that on with me. We're spiritual beings have a spiritual experience because it also makes you come back to the spiritual. Yeah. Because sometimes when you say you're a spiritual being, have a human experience, it's like, well, I'm having a human experience, so I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to act how I want to act. Oh, well, I cause harm. I'm human, but when you say I'm a spiritual being having a spiritual experience, it almost gives you this sense of responsibility of how can I show up in alignment to what's my truth, right?
Yeah, truly. And it makes us understand that the spirit cannot be limited. Like the human form is not even a limited form. Because it is an expression of the infinite spirit, of the infinite soul. So it's getting back to that boundless space and freeing yourself from all limitations. Because when we say we're human, we're usually saying, okay, I'm small, I'm limited, I'm fragile, I'm just in a way. But to accept our spiritual essence is to accept it all. Yeah. Accept that being human is also a spiritual experience. Accept that being human is also okay. It's not a limitation. It's not something that you have to shelter yourself under, you know?
And I think also like we want to be perfect, right? In our human experience. And so if we are accepting our flaws and we're forgiving ourselves, we're forgiving others, then I feel like that's a way we can be in that spiritual experience because there, like you said, there's no separation. Yes, you are a human, but you are a human being spiritual, hopefully. Right? Well, I want to kind of dive into spirituality a little bit because the pillars of Get Loved Up is spirituality, wellness, and entrepreneurship. So when it comes to spirituality, I look at it as like your relationship to yourself, your relationship to others, and your relationship to the world. And so your relationship with yourself, like what really helps you like dive deep into that connection with yourself?
Music is like my foremost way, which is, I guess, why I'm a musician. Music really takes me to that place of liberation to let me know that I am already free. Music really connects me in a way that meditation doesn't to the divine, because I feel the divine. I'm in that state of flow. I'm in that state of ease when I'm writing music or creating music or allowing myself to be a channel for music to flow. It really just puts me in a great heart space and head space of just total surrender. And I think for me, that's what spirituality is. The essence of spirituality is total and complete surrender, because all of this is spirit, and we are a happening in spirit. And so when we can totally allow ourselves to surrender, we can be in the spirit because we understand that spirit is sustaining our entire existence, our entire experience without our asking, without our doing. And so when we step into this space of non-doing and just allowance and surrender, then spirit begins to flow with ease, and all of the intelligence, all of the wisdom, all of the creativity, everything just flows through us naturally. But music really takes me to that space of just total surrender. And I think that's why my music has that effect on people, because it takes them back. It brings them back to the spirit, because when I'm creating, I'm in that space of just being with the spirit, not doing anything, not considering myself writing anything or creating anything, but just allowing the spirit to just flow through me naturally, easily, effortlessly. And practices do that as well for me. Like I'm not really too much into asana and hatha yoga, but I can get in the flow in that way, so I can feel it through different avenues. But my primary way of just being one with the spirit is through music.
I love that. I love that. And I love how you say it connects you with your soul, because I consider your music soul music.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to your music, it connects me not only to you, but with my soul, with my spirit. It has a resonance that's deep. I remember for at least 3 years, your song, as we begin to breathe, like every yoga teacher training, every yoga class, I started with that song and everyone was like, who is that? And I would play the whole thing and just allow you to, and people would drop in. And I feel like, because it was, again, aligning them with their soul, and they felt it. I was like, the first time when I heard that song was like, it made me stop and pause and go into meditation. So I affirm that your music and the way you're able to transcend even time and space and have a person drop into their soul, like it gives me chills. I'm just like, I can still remember beautiful. The first time I heard it and the impact every single time I played it. And finally I was like, okay, maybe I should change up. I think I had Londrelle and beautiful chords, like everyone knows. Koya's coming, we know exactly what she's playing. We actually know her whole playlist. So I had to switch it up, but it's just like, it was so powerful. But that power never left. And I feel like your connection to others, like through your music is absolutely profound. And now you're seeing like, wow, like just how many people, just before we start recording, you're talking about all the love you're getting from your live events. So what do you feel, and I know you're a big service person, like when it comes to service and connection with others, what do you feel your music has helped you do that you feel like you couldn't do without your music?
I think first and foremost, my music has allowed me to heal myself, to understand myself, to commune and know myself. And from that, I offer that communion, I offer that healing to others. And I think that's what it makes it more profound, because I'm like a weird chemist doing the experiment on myself, and say, okay, it works for me, so it must work for someone else. Right. And I'm in that space of communing with the spirit, communing with God. When I'm creating music, or the result of my sadhana, the result of my practice comes out in the form of music, and the things that I'm learning comes out in the more simplistic way. And I put that into music form, or it comes through me in the form of music and poetry. And then I offer that to the world in a simplistic way, in a digestible way, and almost a way that you connect directly with your spirit. Through the listening of the music. There's no long philosophy that you have to read, no lectures that you have to listen to for hours. It's just an immediate connection that's always there, and the music really just helps people to remove that blockage that stops them that stops them from believing in the sense of separation, and all sense of separation, making God accessible. I think that's what it does. Ashe.
Making God accessible. I agree. I 100% agree, and people feel that. Now we want to dive into a little bit of juicy juice. Yeah. You recently got married. Congratulations.
Yes,
it is so beautiful to just watch that journey, as you share, over social media. But also know it's not easy, right?
It's not.
So do you share a little bit about like your relationship, that sacred union? One thing I will say, from the outside looking in, just your rituals together, how you all honor each other is really profound to see and watch. And I think it also connects people deeper when they see, we see all the toxic relationships and really hard. And like I said, I know your relationship is not without flaw, but to see that healthy and how you hold space, for your queen and how she holds space for you is a beautiful thing. So can you share a little bit about?
Yeah, definitely. No relationships is without difficulty. But I think we gel well together, and we are energetically compatible because we just allow each other to be each other. Like, I'm not trying to change her. I'm not holding this idea of what she should be in my mind and just falling in love with that idea. I am seeing her for what she is, and all that she is, and her power and her strength and her weaknesses and her flaws. And she's seeing the same thing within me and accepting all that I am. I think the important thing is that we came to each other full. We didn't come to each other seeking each other. We didn't come to each other seeking a relationship or seeking marriage. We just came in surrender because we know we both have a connection and a connection and a relationship with God first.
Right.
And so we come to each other not dependent on the other for anything, because we know that we have our foundation in God, and God is our true provider. Mm-hmm. And through our relationship, we draw closer to God. We experience more of God. We take each other deeper into God. So I think that foundation of putting God first in our union, of serving God first in our union, of communing with God first in our union is really the foundation for, our upward ascension and our growth in that divine union. But it has been a beautiful experience that has not been without challenges, but it's been a beautiful challenge. I do thank her for challenging me, and seeing the areas within me that I'm naive of, because I spent so much time alone. I spent like 5-6 years just single, mm-hmm. and I was just totally wrapped up in myself, doing the work, but totally negligent and naive to certain parts of me that I would not see if it was not for an exchange.
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same for her. So it's been a beautiful challenge that has allowed me to go deeper, to go deeper into the parts of me that I am naive of, and come back to her with love, and to love myself unconditionally, because she loves me unconditionally, despite my own darkness and despite my own shadow. She loves me conditionally. And that's something that I've never quite received from anyone, that's just that seeing me in my fullness. And that fullness includes light and darkness. That fullness includes the duality, and loving me regardless. Yeah. Loving
That's
me in
beautiful.
spite. Yeah.
I love it. I love, it's when you get into relationships and I love what you said about like when I was by myself. I was wrapped up in growing myself, but when you get into relationships, it's almost like a reflection of, and it shows you places where you can grow, where, like you said, without a partner, you might not be able to see those things. Yeah. What are ways you feel like you've grown, having a relationship versus being single?
I guess I've become more presently aware of my own darkness, because when you're like, I could study and meditate all day, pray all day, and just be in the space of all love and light, but I'm not acknowledging the darkness that I've experienced. And through that experience, the darkness that still is resting within me somewhere. Mm-hmm. So the relationship, our union, I should say, has allowed me to go deeper into my darkness. I can be prideful sometimes. I can be selfish sometimes. I can be defensive sometimes. Yeah. And all of these things that I did not know comes to the surface, and it allows me to face those things and see those things and deal with those things in a positive way and work through those things with someone who's loving and compassionate and wanting me to be the best version of me. Yeah. Just really helping me see my flaws and the areas in which I need to grow. So like I said, I could be selfish and I could be prideful, but to a certain extent, I don't think it's that extreme, or else we wouldn't be here.
It wouldn't work, right?
It wouldn't work, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to yield. I'm willing to surrender to her teachings as well, because she is a powerful teacher as well, and I'm willing to accept that she has something to show me about myself, and vice versa. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And I appreciate it so much. I appreciate your vulnerability and sharing. I know it's not always easy to share, but I think it's such, like, even with your music, it's an example of how other people can admit, like, you don't have to be perfect, and it's okay to have darkness and flaws and blind spots and things like that. What has been some of the tools that you use? Because like right now, we have a mental health crisis. A lot of people are trying to figure out, a lot of it stems around relationship, because we're all going through this collective trauma together. Yeah. So can you share with us, I know number one, vulnerability, but can you share with us some things that help you get through, okay, I see my darkness. Yeah. Now, how do you go about working on those things in a way that's honoring of yourself, honoring of others, and the process that it takes?
Yeah. I guess like a great part of my traumatic experiences and my darkness is resulted around my childhood and my relationship with my mother. And so I've just been nurturing that relationship and having open and honest conversations with my mother, healing conversations with my mother, to, asking her why she was the way that she was, and why she treated us the way that she treated us. So going back and holding space for healing conversations has been very, very instrumental in my forgiveness, very instrumental in my my acceptance of the past and my letting go of the past, giving it context, because as a child, like I didn't know why she why she was abusive, or why she was so angry all the time. And just this year, this summer, I really sat down with her and had a conversation with her. It was so very difficult for me to bring that to the table. I paced around the house for at least 30 minutes trying to figure out like how am I going to ask these questions. But then I sat down for like 15 minutes and I just wrote down like tons of questions, like 50, 60 questions that I had. And I told her, hey mom, can I talk to you for a while? Or can I talk to you in the other room? And she came in, she sat down, and I just started asking questions about like why she was the way that she was, and why she treated us the way that she treated us. And, we had a really deep conversation about her own traumatic experiences as a child. And I understood why she was the way that she was, because it was learned behavior. It was taught behavior. And she didn't know anything outside of that. And so she just passed that along, that parenting style on to me. And in that moment, I saw her innocence. I didn't see her as my mother anymore. I saw her innocence. I saw her inner child, because she was like, when she was doing it, she would fidget and she was like, plait her hair, unbraid her hair. So in that exchange, I saw her healing her inner child. And from that, my inner child was healed. And that was like a major breakthrough that I had this year, of just really learning to just sit down with those who may have hurt me, or just offering that olive leaf to someone who has hurt me, and just being willing to hear people out and hear myself out as well, through journaling and through writing poetry and music, which has always been my way of self-healing. But holding space for others and their healing has been very instrumental in my own healing as well.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so important for people to know. I'm having those healing conversations. I also have a strained relationship with my father, and just talking and realizing, like you said in the beginning, everyone is going through something that we know nothing about. But when you have the conversation, it allows them to acknowledge what you are acknowledging, what you experienced. So I think that's important. It's just your acknowledgement of how you feel. And then her acknowledging of like, okay, this is what I was experiencing at that time. And then sharing her childhood. I think that's just a beautiful way to start that healing process. So thank you so much for sharing that. I know people listening is like, okay, I need to have a conversation.
I need to have a conversation with her. And it may be tough, it may be difficult, but it's worth having. Even if you don't know how to approach it, at least try to approach it. Like me, I had to write it down. I had to write down the questions that I had, so that I can not be afraid, because it's on paper, and to know what I want to ask, and just allow the conversation to go from there, and allow the healing to commence from there. And it's still a journey into becoming more communicative with her. Because, growing up, I didn't really communicate with her because she was just like very abusive. And so throughout the years, when I moved out, when I was like 17, I went to college when I was 17, and I just never turned back. But that's a lot of suppressed emotions. That's a lot of unspoken conversation, unspoken things that I'm still learning to speak, to profess, because I never made that a habit of speaking to my mother in any type of way. Right. And so even though, I live with her and for 17 years. So it's still an ongoing process, but she reaches out to me more frequently now. She, she tells me she loves me more frequently now. So it's a beautiful exchange. And I know just by opening that door of vulnerability and transparency and inquiry is healing for her as well. Right. Because I'm sure she regrets a lot of that. Right. I'm sure, because with age comes maturity and understanding. And I have 3 other siblings that she was the same way too. And my younger sibling, he has a little bit easier because she's learned and she's understand, but it's still a lot of suppressed emotions for her, not only in her exchange with us, but in her exchange with her mother. And so there's still unspoken things that she needs to have with her mother. So just by me having the courage to speak to her gives her the courage to speak to her mother as well. Because the trauma runs deep, runs deep, and we just have to open our hearts, the doors of our hearts open to be vulnerable and to have those healing conversations. Yeah. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
How much do you feel like, you getting started with your music helped you release some of that pain that you felt in your childhood?
About 100%, about
Right?
100%, because
Okay.
I'm not a very outspoken person.
Right.
I don't really talk a lot. And so music is my way of self-expression. Music is my way of release.
Yeah.
I can be totally vulnerable. I think I'm very vulnerable in my music. I think
You
I'm
are.
very more vulnerable than I am in conversation.
Yeah.
Because with my music, it's just me and the music, me and the divine, expressing my truths, expressing my fears, expressing everything releasing through expression.
Yeah.
And I think through just simple conversations can be healing as well. If we just allow ourselves to be truthful and honest, just like this conversation here is a healing conversation. It takes me deeper into places that I'm not incurious of, and it allows me to explore things that I maybe don't explore on my own. And so music does that as well. It allows me to go deeper. Yeah.
I love that. It's like you turn your pain into purpose. A lot of people say it, but to actually see it actualize, you know, to see that pain and, you know, to know, like reading your story, like how you started off just selling CDs, you know, you know, we're going to get to like the entrepreneurship part, but I just love that you took that pain and you allowed expression. You know, we talk about our energy centers and our chakras, even though your root, you know, your safety, your security as a young man felt a little jeopardized. You use your sacral, your expression to kind of energize you and kind of lift you out of that darkness. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important, is that we tell our stories.
Yeah.
We speak our truth, because life is writing something through us.
Yeah.
You know, we are co-creating in this experience, and life is telling a story. Life is singing a song through us. And just to accept our story, accept our role, accept everything that comes with this embodiment of a human being, accept that it all has purpose, and something beautiful and amazing is being written through us, and something beautiful and amazing is being sung through us, and only through us. And we just have to embrace it and tell it and speak our truth and tell our story. And from that will come liberation. From that will come healing. From that will come all that we need to make it through this experience in a loving way.
Right. Right. Oh, that's so true. So true. And we're gonna go into entrepreneurship next, because this conversation is naturally going there. And so, starting music, expressing yourself. When did you realize that, you know what, I want to do this for the rest of my life?
I don't think there was never a point where I say that I want to do this for the rest of my life, because this is my life. Like I'm just being me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just being me. And there's no, like, I wouldn't say that there's a how-to. There's not like a strategy to this. It's just being me and trusting that being me will take me wherever I need to go so that I can continue to be me. So I don't really have any strategies, marketing, advertising. I'm just being me. I'm just using the tools that I have with my creative gifts, and using that in a way that is in service to humanity, that is in service to the divine, and letting that alone to be my strategy, service to God. And God will align me with the right people, the right circumstances, the right wisdom, the right understanding, spontaneously whenever I need it.
Right.
And I have the ability to tap into whatever I need whenever I need it. To take my life and my career wherever it needs to go and wherever it wants to go. But obviously I have some sort of just natural knowing of marketing and advertisement. It's not like books and things that I read. It's just more so an inner knowing and understanding of what looks good, what sounds good, how to package it, and how to deliver it to an audience.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love everything, the app, the books, everything, the sunflowers. Like every time I see a sunflower, I'm like, Londrelle, you know, like I just think it's so beautiful. But I know it wasn't always easy. And I know a lot of people right now are getting a lot of no's. And I know when you start working, like, you know, you got some no's and you got some releases. And I really want you to share a little bit about that part of your life and realizing that sometimes everyone's not meant to work for someone else. Everyone's not meant to be in a large corporation. Also, everyone's not meant to be an entrepreneur. And you have a very beautiful perspective. So I would love for you to share. I
received a lot of no's in my life, a lot of no's from life. Yeah. Times where I thought I was ready for where I am right now. But exactly where I am today, I understand that those no's had a purpose and redirected me to go deeper.
Yeah.
To be more comfortable with being me, to be confident in being me, to be confident in my story, to celebrate my existence, to celebrate my life, to celebrate those no's, because all of those things have channeled me and guided me to where I am today. So no's are not the end of the world. No does not mean failure. No does not mean you won't reach your destination. No, simply for me, no means go deeper. Go deeper into your gift, go deeper into your purpose, go deeper into your understanding of why you are here. Because every no really guides you back into yourself so that you can bring more yes, saying yes to you. And the more you say yes to your gift, your talent, and your ability and what you have to offer to the world, more people will begin to start to say yes to your gift and your talent and your abilities. But we have to believe in ourselves first. We have to know that something truly profound wants to be expressed through us and only us.
Right.
And a no is not a no to your gift or your talent or your ability. A no is that maybe in that space, that gift and capacity, or that gift and that talent cannot even be received. And maybe it's too big for that space. Maybe it's too big for the space that you're trying to fit in. Maybe you're shrinking yourself to fit into a space that your gift and your talent and your ability does not belong.
Yeah.
And so I've received a lot of no's for this gift, but I understand this gift does not belong in a box. This gift does not belong in a cubicle. This gift does not belong under a roof. This gift should be given to the world, So it's understanding, truly having an intimate exchange with your gift, knowing that your gift has been given to you from the divine to give to others. And how are you willing to give that to others? And how are you willing to allow yourself to be a medium for that gift, for your gift to use you as well? Yeah.
I love that. That is so beautiful. And I also know, when I first learned about you, you were deep into activism. You were, promoting, running around the world. Run for Justice. Can you tell us a little bit about that passion project and how it grew and expanded? And I feel like, like I said, that's how I found out about you. Can you talk a little bit about why you started that and how it changed your life?
Definitely shift. My first major shift happened while doing that run, but it was, I guess, to give the big backstory. It was, I think, 2014 when Michael Brown, he was viciously murdered in Ferguson, and I just saw just people tweeting about it and posting about it, but nobody really wanting to do anything about it in a positive, impactful way. And so at the moment, at that time, I was using running as a way to cope with my own problems. I was using running to free myself from my own depression and to understand life. So I would just run for like miles and miles a day. And that really allowed me to feel safe, to feel at peace with myself, and seeing that it was something that I could do to find ease within myself. I decided to do a run to raise awareness around police brutality, and more specifically, the Michael Brown situation. And so I designed a run, me and a friend, from Atlanta to Ferguson, about a 600-mile run from Atlanta to Ferguson, to the spot in which Michael Brown was killed, to express, that we can, to express and show that we can do something about the situation, to raise awareness and to help families that are dealing with these things, because sometimes those families think that nobody is hearing their voice, nobody is hearing their story. And so that was my token or that was my way of showing that you are seen. And that was my way of dealing with my problems as well. So it worked out for me, and it worked out for me, but it also brought awareness to the situation. I think we raised more than $60,000 for the family, and was able to gift them a great percentage of that, and was able to go around the country hosting these runs to allow people allow them a transformative way of dealing with the collective trauma, because, police brutality adds to the collective trauma, especially of Black people and Black men. So that was a way to do something in a transformative way. It was my way of peaceful protesting during the time, and that run and those runs opened my heart up to more compassion, more love. It just really opened up a vortex of understanding within me. I think that type of selfless service, it does something. It transforms you in a way that some things can't, like a lifetime of working in a job cannot do. Just selflessly serving others, and selflessly healing others brings more healing into your life, brings a greater capacity to serve into your life. Yeah.
I love that. And I'm so grateful for you and, just starting that initiative and blessing so many lives with your service, because we're still, needing that today. I mean, how do you feel that, selfless service, I definitely think that's one, but how do you feel more people can do their part in being supportive? I feel like we went through a period of education. Yeah. Do you feel like it's sticking? And what do you feel like is kind of the key to really take the lessons that are now more out in the open and use it to promote change?
I think by using our gifts, whatever our gifts may be, by doing what we love in service of humanity. Because if we are doing what we love, we are doing it with love, and love heals, love awakens, and love expands. So just really quite simply doing what we love and serving others through that medium in which you love. I'm sure you love conversations, you love doing yoga, you just love connecting. Yeah. And you're doing what you love and you're having a conversation and that brings more awareness to that person, and that brings more awareness to the things that we experience. And it creates a vortex of love when we do what we love and serve others through that medium. Yeah.
Ashe. I agree, because we are all different, and when we do what we love, we really raise the vibration of the planet. Yes. And that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. One of my favorite things when I've seen you, because I've seen you a couple of times when you were staying in Atlanta. Yeah. One of my favorite times were when we were having a jam session. And I didn't even somehow your energy brought this inner lyricist out of me. And I'm like, I need to find that work, that music. It was so profound. It was so much fun. Yeah. So I want you to kind of share like how you express yourself, kind of like your rituals. How do you get into your vibe? How do you get into the space where you just start, just flowing and letting the energy flow?
Really getting in the space of devotion and surrender really takes me into that space of just flow and ease. That gets me into that flow state of just total, just being with all the music that is playing. Like music is playing here and now, and music is always playing, and songs are always being written. And for me, it's just tapping into like devotional music, listening to mantras, listening to kirtan really helps me get into a devotional space, or listening to just instrumentals. I really love native flutes and drums and things of that nature. That really gets me into a space of just, it gets me out of my head space and takes me into my heart space of just pure feeling. And from there, I could just be in flow, be in that state of flow, be in that state of surrender. But any type of music, as I was telling my man here, like any type of music just really takes me to a space of surrender. Any sounds, any frequencies, any vibrations, just really, even silence. Silence can really take me to that space of just flow and ease and listening to the song that is always playing. Yeah.
I love that you said, even right now, because like the plants have a vibration, I can hear water outside and birds, and there's always energy moving and going on. And now I kind of want to get into your wellness rituals a little bit. I want to share some of that fun stuff with people. So, when it comes to ritual, I know you said your daily rituals, sometimes you do meditation, sometimes asana, sometimes music. Do you have, and I know it's different from when you travel and when you're at home, but do you have like a regular like day and evening ritual?
Yeah, I have a regular daily sadhana. I usually wake up, sometimes it's early, sometimes it's not so early, but I'm not so hard on myself as I used to be. Between 5 and 7, I get up. The first thing is always just gratitude. I'd say, thank you, life. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, or something to that form of fashion. Just giving thanks, because life did not have to choose me today.
Yeah.
Life did not have to choose me. Every moment life is choosing us. And we don't do anything. We don't play a part in that life choosing us. It's amazing that we haven't just dropped dead here and now in this moment. So life is obviously doing a great part in sustaining our existence.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I do is just give gratitude, because I know that there's somewhere in time and space where life didn't choose someone. You know, and so just for that, I give gratitude and thanks. And that really just opens my heart up to today, or whatever, or to the day, and puts me in a good heart space, in a devotional space. And I think really gratitude really just opens us up, opens our heart even more. Is, you know, counting the blessings that we do have. Counting the life, or embracing the life that we do have, embracing the breath that we do have. And then I go into my room, my space, my creative space, which is also my meditation space. And I light some incense. I play some devotional music. I play some kirtan, and I pour libation, and offer my obeisances to Godhead and to the ancestors and to the gurus before I get into my meditation practice. And I do a brief asana, but more so I do Mahamudra. That's how I pretty much start that's the first asana that I do. And if I flow into anything after that, I will. But usually I do Mahamudra. Then I go into Kriya Yoga, a few Kriyas. And then I meditate for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours.
Wow.
And then, I start my day with that and ritualize the rest of my day, however it goes. So my whole day is a ritual. Once I start my day with that intention, my whole day is spiritualized. When I start my day with that process, or with that practice, I should say, our whole lives can become a ritual if we start our day by ritualizing our day. You know?
I love that. I love that philosophy that you carry, and you definitely walk the walk. You definitely, with ritual, from the way you come in and hold space and take up space. It's just a beautiful, I feel in that ritual when I'm with you, which is the beautiful thing. I love hanging around people where you just feel like that energetic vortex of ritual and of love and of presence. And definally appreciate that. And what do you feel like, you know, your evening? Do you have an evening ritual?
My evening is not so much, because I'm a daytime person, and I love the sunlight, and I'm more charged and energized by the sun. So my evening ritual was more so creative. It's more so writing music. Sometimes I read, but most times I'm writing music. I may play sound bowls, but it's not really too intense. It's more so of a wind down, a culmination of my day. So my nightly ritual is not as intense or as lengthy as my morning ritual, because I'm a morning person. So I may get it all in the morning time. So I'm just I'm ritualizing the rest of my life, or the rest of my day. So whatever I do throughout the day becomes spiritualized by my initial ritual. So my night ritual is not too complicated. Again, I might just write music until 3-4 in the morning. And
wow.
So that's just my flow. My flow. I get it all in the beginning of my day, because my days are really free flow. I don't really have any specific times I need to be here and there. The rest of my days are really free flow. So I may end up like doing my morning ritual, but I may end up studying the entire day. So I'm always in that energy, always in that frequency. Never out of balance or out of tune with the purpose of my ritual. Is embodiment, you know?
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. And when it comes to energetics of food, you know, I know like that's a big thing. A lot of people are, you know, becoming more plant-based, putting more plants on their plate. Do you feel like there's a connection between what we consume and the energy that we contain and when we move throughout the world? Yes,
I do agree that high vibrational foods create high vibrational living. You know, so the higher, you know, if we eat very dense foods, those are of a lower vibration. It creates low vibrational emotions. It brings to the surface low vibrational emotions, low vibrational thoughts. And if we don't know how to transmute those into higher vibrational thoughts and emotions, then our diets can become very, very heavy with us. But as we eat a more plant-based diet, we are eating life, living life. And so living life I don't mean cannibalism, although we may be plant cannibalists, but because all everything has life and everything is equal. And I do truly think that, our diet is more so about compassion than consumption than anything. So, but yeah, a more plant-based diet allows us to receive high vibrational foods, living foods, and that allows us to live high vibrationally as well.
I love that. It's so true. I mean, I know when I eat dense, I've been vegan for 16 years, but when I eat dense processed vegan food, I feel lower energy. But when I eat fresh, vegan food, I feel high energy. And I feel like people need to hear that more, because it's not just about a label or any type of judgment, but just like, how do you feel? And can you feel the energy shift depending on what you eat? So thank you so much for sharing that.
Because definitely we can, like if I sat there and ate like a whole platter of strawberries, that would be overconsumption of high vibrational foods. And I'm eating only for pleasure and not for sustenance. And I'm not eating to sustain my existence,
You can have that whole bowl of strawberries though.
I shall have it before I leave. I will, and another platter as well. But I think diet is important in how we live, how we exchange, with each other. How we do everything. Diet is important, because it plays a part in how we feel. And how we feel is how we show up in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we're going to get into a little personal preferences of yours. I know you've read a lot of books, especially a lot of spiritual books. What's your favorite book that you've read?
My favorite book that I have read and always read is the Bhagavad Gita. It really takes me. It's ever new for me. It's ever new. It's an ever new understanding, an ever new awakening. Just reading one passage after I meditate and reflecting on that passage and writing down my reflections really takes me deeper into myself, really takes me deeper into my soul. So my number one book is the Bhagavad Gita. Any version is a good version. Also, Autobiography of a Yogi. That has opened my heart even more, my mind even more. Vasishtha Yoga is a book that I'm reading currently. It's a very voluminous book, but I only read like one page a day because it's just that voluminous. What else? The Alchemist is always a favorite of ours. What else? Man, Heal Thyself by Supernova, Islam, and Queen Afua. That has been instrumental in my just healing, my healing journey, my dietary journey, and just really going deeper and understanding my emotions and tapping into my masculinity, healthy masculinity, and healing the parts of my masculine side. So those are the 4 books that I do on top of my list. I
love it. Your 4 favorite fruits, which I know strawberries one. What are the rest?
Strawberries, pineapples, apple, green apples, and banana. Those are 4 fruits that I have to have in my home.
And what about vegetables? Sometimes people give vegetables a bad rap. They're like, I'll take the fruits, but vegetables, I don't think so.
I love kale. I didn't used to like tomatoes at all, but I love tomatoes now. So kale, tomatoes, vegetables, okra. Is okra a vegetable? Yes. So okra.
That's one of those ones that everyone doesn't like. So
I
that's
did not like okra until maybe 2 years ago, or less than that. Till I got involved with Queen Afua and the Man Heal Thyself program. Okra has been atop my list.
Is it stewed okra or is it steamed okra?
It's okra anyway.
Really?
Raw
you love
okra,
it.
fried okra.
Raw okra. You've eaten raw okra.
It is amazing. Like in a salad.
Oh, okay.
Salad, just not just biting.
Like right off the tree, right?
But so okra, kale, tomato, and what else? Because I've been just consuming a lot of vegetables lately. Is yam a vegetable?
Yeah.
So
yams are good. Love those yams. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing it. I want to kind of, if you could take your wand, Londrelle's wand, and just kind of create this world that you would love to live in and you think it would be healing for us all, what would it look like?
It would look like exactly what this world is, you know, because I understand the duality is so important to the awakening, to the coming back home. And so I would leave it just as it is because it is perfect as it is. And I would not have a purpose if it was any other way. I could not find purpose. I would not be this person if it was any other way. And so I would leave it just as it is. Because we are heading into something beautiful and we are awakening to something beautiful. And if it were not for the unbeautiful or the chaos and the trauma and all of the things that we dislike, we would not grow into the things that we are seeking and that we like. So I would leave it just as it is. I would not speed up the process. Of course, I would not slow up the process, but I would just leave it as it is because I know it's all divinely designed. It's all divinely designed. And God makes no mistakes. If God is holding space for all of this, we can hold space for all of it.
I love that. I love it. That's like a healthy relationship with life, right? Yeah. Because you say you wake up every day and life chooses you. So you're like, and I choose life and I love you just the way you are, just like you do in your relationship. Yeah. And I think that is so important because I feel like, you know, and I can get caught up in too, like the world this and this is happening, that has happened. It's almost like having a partner and just listing all of the horrible stuff all the time and not all of the good stuff. That is the first time someone has said, I will leave it just the way it is. And I love that because it helps us reflect on, as you said, everything is perfect, whole, and complete, even in the messiness, even in the chaos. It's all part of the process. Yeah,
because we are in a relationship with life. Yeah, and that is our first relationship is with life. And to say, okay, I want you to be different is not unconditional love. It's not love in the most divine way. You know, because through us, life is telling a story, and with life, we are telling our story, and we are in a divine communion with life. So to accept it as it is, knowing that it could be better, it could always be better, but it could always be worse as well. And where we stand here and now is perfect. You know, where we stand here and now is the most miraculous, beautiful thing that we could ever experience. And so to accept it as it is and its wild expression and its chaotic expression and its messy expression and its beautiful expression is to accept life as it is, you know?
I love that. Yeah. Absolutely. Ashe. I just love that. I think that was just a mic drop moment. So I think a lot of people are going to have like revelations and aha from that. And so now I just want to talk about your projects because, you know, you have so many and I want you to share, you know, your most recent project, Self-Care Package, and then also the projects that you've done leading up to that.
So the most recent album is Stay Free. Stay Free was like Self-Care Package and Stay Free. Well, the book just released. The book was released as a complement to the album. So the book is practical ways of Self-Care Package. The book is practical ways of working with the energy centers, tapping into the frequencies. It's not so much philosophy. I'm not giving because there's tons of books on the philosophy of the chakras. And they all serve a purpose, but this book is about practice, you know, practicing working with the energy, practicing working with foods, aromatherapy, crystals, asanas, mantras, affirmations and meditations that really activate, recharge, and balance those centers without having to, because I'm a practical person and I like to know, how do I implement this in my life immediately? Okay, the philosophy is good and it has its place, but how do I begin to practice this philosophy? And the book provides just simple, easy, fun, making the practice fun, because a lot of times our spiritual practice can sometimes become a task. Right. Just another thing that we do. And so it was the intention to make the practices fun, to allow you to curate your own spiritual practice if you are without a sadhana, if you are without a spiritual routine or ritual, to allow you to, you know, create your own practice with the practices that are given in the book. So, and the book is, again, a complement to the album Self-Care Package, which is meditations and affirmations per chakra. So I really just, after I released the album, I took like a year to really go deeper. It was actually my wife's idea. She said, hey, you should make a book that really complements this album. And that's the direction she gave. And I stuck to her direction. And, you know, from that, the book, Self-Care Package, Healing Through the Chakras was birthed. So anyone who is without a self-care package or self-care practice or self-care ritual or just wants to go deeper into their own self-discovery, the book is a great way to tap in with the consciousness and the energy of each chakra, and see where you're blocked and see where you're out of alignment, so that you can just a quick fix and a quick tune up to get you back in alignment. So it's not too philosophical. It is highly practical. So that is my most recent creation. And before that, there was Stay Free, the album, which is the song Gratitude, which is most people's favorite, was featured on Morning Asana. That's also a favorite. And just that song, that album, I should say, was really a blend of meditation and hip hop. I'm still living off I'm still integrating everything from that album as well for myself. So things that I'm still learning, things that I'm still integrating. The album before that was Floral Escape. That was a more poetic and R&B-ish album. Before that, there was Sunflower Soul, the album that was really dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, releasing, still healing traumas during that time. And before that, there was Feels. I think my Feels and Feminine Energy. I think Feminine Energy is the first album that you probably heard from me in 2014, 15, around that 2015. Yeah, so that was my first album. That was when I was recording songs on my iPhone.
Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. Congratulations on your whole career, everything that you're putting out there to serve people. I remember, having your book, Sunflower Soul, and just being able to feel the energy of your passion and what you put into it was so profound and powerful. Do you have a favorite?
Favorite album? I would probably say Stay Free is my favorite album so far. Though I have an album that I'm working on currently, that is a result of all the conversations that we're having now. The healing, just going deeper into my shadows, is entitled Self Heal. The album is entitled Self Heal. I'm about 10 songs into it. I released a single or a song on 11/11 with Layla Delia. So it's vibrate higher, high vibrational tones, frequencies. It's just I'm showing up in a different way that I haven't shown up in my music before. And Layla, she is showing up in a way that she hasn't shown up in the world as well. So it's a powerful, self-awakening, liberating, high vibrational hip hop. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to the release. It is a call to awakening.
Y'all worked together before, and I think it's just beautiful when you can connect with another beautiful soul. I love Layla. We still got to get on the podcast, but it's just her way of sharing that messaging, and then you two have a very similar way of just sharing your soul's deepest thoughts with people in a way that resonates deeply. So that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here. I could talk to you all day for hours. We got to get back to the strawberries.
Yes, I see.
So is there anything you want to leave people with?
Continue to choose life. Again, like we talk, life chooses us every moment in every moment. So just continue to choose life. Continue to show up and say, I choose this moment, and continue to just choose every moment and allow it to blossom beautifully. Allow your life to blossom beautifully, because the tree is already in the seed, and what you are to become is already within you. There is nothing to become. You are that already. You are just growing into that. And by choosing life, we choose growth every moment in the moment, and not just stay fixed on the destination, but allow ourselves to enjoy the journey. To find joy in the journey by choosing life every moment. Every breath.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Your presence, your time, your wisdom has been phenomenal. So thank you.
I enjoyed this.
Thank you all for joining us again for the Get Loved Up podcast. I know you caught some of those nuggets, because I have some that I'm about to write down after this session. So share with us on social media. Definitely leave a review, and just let us know your biggest takeaways. It's really amazing, especially if you downloaded something from this episode. Don't be afraid to share it with someone else, even if they're not into this type of talk, but just try sharing what you've learned with someone. And we're really going to spread the message and help, make the world a more beautiful place. But like Londrelle said, it's already perfect, whole and complete. So we're just adding to it with everything that we do. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. And I'll see you next time. Peace and love. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for being part of the Get Loved Up community. I like to share topics and people making a positive impact in the world, and your feedback means the world to me. If you haven't already left a review, please leave a 5-star review and let me know what you want to hear more of on the show. I'm here for you, and together we're making the world a better place, one day at a time, one show at a time. Thank you for listening.